it through this one. This one's going to be. Hi everyone. Hope everyone is good. I'm going to speak about how I deal with loss and how I kind of try and reflect upon these horrible, defining moments. Because the truth is, the cold hard truth is, and there's no script here. This is all just me speaking. The truth is, last night I felt horrible, absolutely horrible, and I know a lot of people did. I was meant to go on Joe's show. I couldn't do it. I just felt shallow. And the truth is, people, look, I get it. Like it's just a game, but for me personally, I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people watching. Football is honestly my life. Like literally, you take away obviously the love of family and loved ones and friends, and all I have is that my education, my work, this, you know, everything is based around that sport. But when I lose in it, or when I'm not getting any joy from it, or I'm not seeing people themselves out there, it, in terms of players, it utterly hurts, destroys me. I spent 4 hours walking around my kitchen last night with my earphones in, trying to reflect and digest what I've seen. And look, this is an indictment on me. This is not the players. This is me. This is what it takes. And this is what it feels like when we lose. When I lose at football. I didn't sleep till 7, half 7 a.m. because it just hurts. And I know this is my problem. And it's not healthy. But I've always been the same. This is what this sport does to me. And let alone this sport, which I love, I also absolutely love my football team. I absolutely love them. Every fibre of my body. I love that football team. I really do. So when a team plays in a way in which they give you nothing, and to clarify, you guys know I've backed these players and this team to the hilt because I truly believe in them. I truly believe in them. What's important to me in football, as working in it and as a fan, this one comes together, is the idea and the way in which the team represents the fans and the people who support the club every day. And if and you guys know this is true, if we'd have come out and we'd have battered them and shown some form of a willingness and a wildness to win, a desire to win that game, we didn't, but we did everything in our power. I'd have been upset, I'd have been sad, and I'd have felt something. But the way in which we turned up to a game and we didn't represent the club, they didn't represent what the fans are giving out to them, they didn't represent that. I felt betrayed. I did. Like I said, this isn't about a losing a football match. You know, this is about not even being in a position for any of the game where you thought we could get anything from it. This is about a team that looked like they completely rolled over for an opposition in a time where we all believed or expected them to represent what we give them. What the fans go there every weekend give to the players. This is a representation of them. And they've let the club down massively. They've let the fans down massively. That loss last night, people play the blame game, is, and I'm saying this through my own failures, people. I have failed so much at sport this season. Almost everything I've been involved in is a failure, and I'm not afraid to admit that. It hasn't worked. But the escape was watching my football team win and represent us, represent what we give them. And that was my escape. And then you watch that, and you genuinely feel like you've been betrayed. You feel like you've got to be careful with your words, because these guys do care. They've shown that all season, but they didn't have what was required. They didn't have anything last night. Nothing. There was nothing there for me to even grasp or enjoy or get behind. There was nothing to get behind. And that's a complete failure in every way, from players to manager to staff. Complete failure across the board. That's what that was. That's what that represented. A complete and utter failure in every way, shape, or form. And I know that because I've been part of complete and utter failures. Been battered. Teams come out and they don't even look like they want to do anything. And you sit there and you think, why on earth did that happen? And you have to look at yourself. You have to look at yourself as a coach, on the coaching staff, as a manager, as the main man. You have to look at yourself. But the equal to that, and this isn't, like I said, this isn't just a loss. This is didn't even turn up. Didn't even attempt to play the game in a way in which you could win. We're not going to win the way we were last night. We was not going to win. And then the players are key to that, just as much as the manager and the coaching staff. I'm saying this through my failures. You sit there sometimes and think, could we have done enough? And sometimes, the players didn't produce the plan that they've been doing at training. Sometimes you can sit there and go, we got it wrong. We got that wrong. But sometimes, when it's really bad, there's an acceptance that everyone got it wrong. And I know and I understand the comments, but I'm talking from my perspective here. Like I said, I'm not going to speak for anyone else. This is my perspective. And this is a lot of this is through my failures and through games that I've been part of where that's happened, and you truly think, what? Nothing felt like that was going to happen. We prepared well, everything felt good, and it just didn't happen. Question everything, and that's part of football. That's this sport. That's what it does to you. And they have to look at themselves and ask themselves, what do we represent? Of course, every footballer wants to get to the top. They will leave a club if they have to get to the top. What are you representing right now? This part of the season, when it's tough, when it's hard, when every team up their games. What are you representing? Who are you representing, and why? Who are you doing this for? Why are you doing it? And do you know what, people? I could sit here and criticise this guy. I could criticise every single player on that pitch. People singling out Somerville. Why is it him every week that's got to win us a game? And if we don't, it's his fault. He plays bad. That's why we lost. The expectation on that young man in his first full season as the main player at a football team, and look at his numbers. He's been unbelievable for us. This is not on him. This is not on anyone individual. This is a complete system failure from the entire team. A complete failure, because I'm seeing players give up when the ball's gone past them. I'm seeing players complaining to each other when the ball's gone past them. I'm seeing players give up when they've lost the ball. I'm seeing simple 5-yard passes, constantly, not to the man, constantly to them. I'm seeing panicking. I'm seeing rushing. I'm seeing unbelievable decision making that these guys don't usually do. I'm not seeing the basics. I'm not seeing the typical basics that you fully expect from a bunch of professional footballers. I didn't see that for most of that game. I didn't see it from anyone. Before you even get to tactics, before you even get to that stuff, anything, the simple, basic, fundamental football things are key in any game to win it. Any single game. The basic fundamentals. That's attitude on the pitch. That's body language. That's hard work. That's positional awareness. That's mindset. Without that, It doesn't matter who starts up front. It doesn't matter who starts in centre mid. It doesn't matter who does what. Because without fundamentals, your team is completely dead. And there was zero fundamentals for a lot of that game. None. And anyone that says it's all about the tactics, people, without fundamentals, tactics means absolutely nothing. You could have 12 babies and have the right tactic. Do they have any fundamentals? No, they don't, because they're babies. The fundamentals are key. Without fundamentals, you can't create anything. You can't do anything. If anything, you're looking for the players to just provide something, a spark. There was not even close for anyone providing the spark yesterday. Players couldn't pass the ball 3 yards. 3, 5 yards. They couldn't do it. And then when they lose it, I'm seeing them go, get your head out your ass at that point. Get your head out your ass. What are you representing? I come back to that. What are you representing? And it's not even, I don't even, look, forget the fact that we've bottled top 2 or whatever you want to call it. Forget that. Forget it. I don't care about that. I care about what I saw and what that means to us as a fans and what we take from that and how that really hurts us. And I can only talk about myself and the way how I react to that situation. I'm sure other people do similar things. Other people might drink. Other people might, go for a walk or whatever. It doesn't matter. We all deal with things, and they have to know that. Do they know what it means for us? They're a bunch of young lads, for the most part. They're young lads. That game really, to me, from my eyes, lacked experience and leadership. Massively lacked it, 100%. Experience and leadership is key for the fundamental part of the game. They keep the standard. They provide that. They let everyone know what the situation is. And it just felt like a bunch of young lads running about, not really understanding or learning what they needed to do in that situation. They looked lost, a lot of them. They looked confused. They looked lost. And the experience we have, the real experience we have on the bench, is probably Liam Cooper. I take this back to January, and I do, and I've said this all along. The centre-back situation was interesting because we lost Pascal, and that was unlucky, whatever. You keep him, you're looking solid, you've got options there if you need. But me and Andre, particularly, I remember, was screaming for a 10, a different option, a different player. That connective tissue between centre midfield and strike front 3. The one who can positionally be great. We put all our reliance and all our joy in that position on Georgina Rutter, a young man who's not played a full season as the main man at a football club in his entire career yet. And when it's good for him, it's great. But when he's struggling, who's that other option? Who is it? Who's the option? And I look at Pritchard. A player like that who left Sunderland. Look, people might go, what? No. Good player. A player that will excel with good players around him. A real experienced and tidy number 10 with championship experience who's still playing at a good level at Sunderland. Whenever he played, I watched him and I thought, this guy's decent. Surely he's cheap. And he did. He left. Went for cheap. Play like that. I know we can't spend money. I know we don't have the financial problems, but you look at Ipswich as what they did. What did they bring in? 2 strikers, completely different. One in which I was asking for, which was about 1.5 million, by the way. And then Kiefer Moore. Experience, understanding, different option. We didn't get what we needed. Now I'm looking at our bench, and we're bringing on 2 players who have hardly played, who have no real chance of impacting this game because of that. Their game state isn't fit. They're not match ready. Nowhere near it. They came on and they wanted to impress. You could tell that. But that's the options we've got. Look at Sarmiento as well, who left West Brom. went to Ipswich on loan. Doesn't start for them, comes off the bench and makes an impact. Play like that. We got too comfortable. I get the financials, but I'm talking about loans here. We can afford a loan. Got space for loans. Yeah, that's part of it. Not when these young lads who have naiveties to them because they are young and don't understand the league or don't understand the situation they're in. They need help. They need support. They do. It's key. Really important. And they don't have it. But every week it's reliance on them. And if that pressure builds up to them and that lack of understanding gets deeper and deeper every time they play and they're really lost and these teams are stepping up around them and suddenly everyone's better than them. They're lost. They're completely lost. What you need in there is calm head. Because the front four is so young and inexperienced. And you've got a player in Joel Perreault who is completely and utterly void of confidence to the point where the lad's first touch isn't even good anymore. He's completely void of confidence. I don't care what anyone says, I can see that and I can feel it from him. Because again, I've been there, where you're just lost as a player and you don't quite know what you're meant to do. You don't quite know who you are as a footballer. That can change. It can. It doesn't change in the middle of a pressurised season. That takes time and reflection to really find yourself again and figure out who you are. And that's the premise of it. I know what the comment's going to be. Look, people, play the blame game. That's fine. That ain't going to fix anything. That isn't going to help anything. Nothing's going to help anything. We messed up massively as a club, as a team, as an entire thing. Every single individual involved in that game yesterday, every one of them, didn't do their jobs right. That's the fact of it. Blame individuals, that's fine. There's other people that will do that. Again, I sit here, and I think, who am I? Hear me out here. I think, who am I to criticise these people when I've failed just as much as they have at a lower level with less pressure? I genuinely sit here and think, who am I? How can I come in here and completely batter an individual when I failed with less pressure and less expectation than them this year, when I failed more? I genuinely, I sit here and I think that, and that's just my perspective again, coming from working in the industry. That's the mindset I've got. I think, who am I to criticise these people who made it as professional footballers? What I can do is tell and say what represents Leeds United and what a bare minimum requirement playing for Leeds United is, and what we all expect. That's what I can do, and that's what I will do. It's about perspective, people. When people say, stupid stuff about criticising, happy clapper, it's about perspective. It's about perspective. Everything's about perspective. If you can't see perspective, then that's when the ego comes out and everyone thinks their opinion's the only right one. And if you don't agree with me, you're this or you're that. Everyone's got a different perspective, a different view. That's fine. I'm so degraded after that game. I really am. That's all I've got, people. I am genuinely, believe it or not, going to do a tactics video on this. Why we lost. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate the support, as always. It's Club